Hi, I'm Shiroi. Wanna play? So,
Alright.
we're back here again
Yes.
in Creepy Doll Hell. The
Yes.
Child's Play free.
Child's Play free.
Child's
Okay,
Play
so
free.
we'll talk about the development but first, Shiroi, what happened last time?
Well, last time on fucking Chucky, Andy got adopted into a family who really couldn't handle the kind of trauma that Andy had been through. Also, everything, even some of the more ridiculous things, was somehow Andy's fault.
Maybe
Yeah.
he tied himself to the bed from all angles that were clearly outside of his
No,
reach.
it was Kyle. They blamed Kyle. So.
Oh, but remember, Sheree, Kyle thought that Andy did it to himself.
Yeah, but the parents weren't going to believe either of them. So, but yeah, Kyle ended up being good support for Andy, and we have finally killed this doll. So, what are we doing here?
Shane Kyle's not in this movie, but I digress.
The point is, this movie actually has a time skip. We're actually going to skip to when Andy is 16 in this one, which is why he's not played by Alex Vincent in this one, because Alex Vincent was still too young to play him as a 16-year-old.
Instead, we get the protagonist of a Dungeons and Dragons 2000 movie.
Justin Whalen. Well,
Mr.
okay.
Ridley.
Although, you know what? To be fair, he did play Jimmy Olsen in the awesome series Lois and Clark: The New Adventures of Superman.
Yeah, true, and he was good in that. So.
But these was way before that, though.
It does
Dungeons and Dragons was not this kid's fault.
It does seem like his film career kind of came to a screeching halt by 2009, seeing as how...
So
he quit and became a teacher.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, good for him.
Good for him. Yeah, like we've implied various times, forgot our commentary of Child's Play 2, this movie was kind of a pain to make. That's because right after the first two movies were, in fact, Don actually began writing this movie shortly before Child's Play 2 was released, causing pressure on him to draft a storyline on such a tight schedule. The movie was actually greenlit after after the second movie came out. And they put a release date of only 9 months after the release of the second movie. Sorry.
I wonder how many babies born on the release date of this third movie.
Yeah. This meant, ladies and gentlemen, that Don and his crew had 9 months to write the script, cast the actors, do all the pre-production, do all the shooting, and all the post-production in just 9 months.
Pedro, question.
Poor Jack Bender.
Did he find out about this while on vacation?
I don't know.
Oh, so it may or may not be a complete parallel to the development of Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney Justice for All.
Okay. Anyone who knows anything about filmmaking will tell you that this is a recipe for disaster. It's literally the filmmaking equivalent of that poor Atari employee who had to make the Atari 2600 port of Pac-Man in just 6 weeks. Or was it the E.T. game that was? Okay, yeah, the E.T. game, sorry. That poor Atari employee that made the infamous E.T. port that almost destroyed the video game industry. Yeah, that game, remember? That game was only developed over the course of 6 weeks. And this movie is basically the filmmaking equivalent of that. Making a movie in just fucking 9 months entirely is basically a recipe for disaster. Which is why, regardless of how much we criticize this movie, we will not blame the filmmakers for it, because let's face it, the filmmakers were put between a rock and a hard place. So
again, if anything, it's a good statement how even back then Universal was so ruthless as a company.
It says something that their owners, Comcast, are like one of the few companies that's seen as more corporate than modern-day Disney these days. And the results, on a budget on $13 million, this movie made $20.5 million. So a bomb.
Yeah, probably
because more like.
Yeah, it probably didn't. Okay, the quality of the movie, and it also probably didn't help that it came out way too soon, probably causing oversaturation.
I'm curious also, was the Child's Play craze starting to die down? Because I know it saw a resurgence thanks to the fourth movie.
It's more the timing. The early 90s was where the slasher formula was starting to be seen as, too outdated. Not outdated, but, too repetitive, and where there have been too many for too long, like both Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street. So Freddy and Jason's were basically on their way out, and as such, probably not many people went. There's something else regarding the marketing, but I want to mention later. So speaking instead of Comcast, that's the logo. If you actually find out that you need to skip, if your copy presents two Universal logos, you need to skip the first and just stick to the one of the 90s that has the whimsical music.
Dandy.
Okay.
Take us away, Shiri.
Go ahead.
All right. 3, 2, 1, click.
And I'm
Fun
not.
fact.
Go on.
This movie originally was, guess what she wrote? This Mancini originally wanted to introduce the concept of multiple Chuckies in this movie. And anyone who knows anything about the later entries of Chuck, that eventually he got back to that idea.
I mean, I'm guessing it's a natural conclusion towards, the character in a way.
Yeah, basically, most of the ideas that Don originally had for this movie, he had to scrap them because of time
Ah.
constraints.
Oh, I do have a question though about our lead actor for this one.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Because I don't quite remember. Does he appear in the TV series at all?
No. Well, remember
Okay.
she.
You're
Remember
retired
she.
from
wrote-
acting.
When it comes to stuff referenced in the show, Child's Play 3 probably gets the least amount of stuff
Well,
brought back.
I mean,
from it.
like hiring him to play a different person who isn't Andy.
okay.
Yeah,
No.
no, because he retired from acting.
He retired from acting in general. What I want, we're not going to get Justin Wallen back. What I really would like to see, and let me get her name real quick. Yeah, Perry Reeves, and she's still acting. Okay.
Isn't blood supposed to usually be viscous?
Well, it is in a way.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, although the conversation has been relatively tangled and I've just been waiting for my hoop in, I'm here too. I have made a return from the last one.
Sadly, Deji has been missing in action. Probably Chucky got him or
A
something
wild
like
J
that.
a wild J has appeared. Yeah,
Wow, it's a good job I'm not eating a jam donut right
This
now.
is actually, I've talked to Shiri privately about this when I showed her this movie, but one thing that one of all the things that Don has brought back in recent entries for fan service, one particular character that I would definitely like to be brought back is Perry Reeves, because I think it's Perry, whatever, the girl who's the love interest for Andy in this movie.
Yeah, Perry Reeves.
I don't know how to pronounce this name, but the point is, because for reasons that I will not say, because I don't want to spoil stuff that happens in Curse and Cult of Chucky, I think it could be really cool to bring her back in a recent entry, because she's actually one of the better things of this movie, in my opinion.
As for me personally, if I were to bring something back from Child's Play 3, I'd like to bring back Jeremy Salvers' character.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Sure. I guess yeah. That would be fine. I guess. Sure.
All right, I want to use the title, the credit, the intro credit to talk something about the marketing. Maybe one of the reasons potentially might have been the poster, because I normally don't talk about these, but I was researching in order to get a thumbnail for this video, and man, the original poster for this movie is lazy as shit.
Yeah.
Just Chucky's face with nothing else on a black screen and the title, nothing else. As such, that's what I'm probably going to use. The collector's edition Blu-ray is actually much better because it depicts a Chucky armed to the teeth with a knife and a grenade on top of skulls. That's more like it, what the movie is about.
This is also the last time a movie in this franchise will be directed by someone who's not Don Mancini. Once again,
Why
Don
are we
Mancini,
recording this upside down?
It's artistic.
It's artistic. Just roll with it. Like Dweb said earlier, this movie is directed by Jack Bender, and this will be the last time, because starting from this movie...
Chucky 4 was directed by Ronnie Yu.
Oh yeah, you're right. I forgot about Ronnie Yu. I keep forgetting about Ronnie
Let
Yu.
me put it like this. Don Mancini was pretty much calling the shots by the fourth film, but he wasn't directly directing it yet. It was kind of like,
Let me see.
it's kind of like Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas, where,
Speaking
Tim
of,
Burton is
he directed Seed.
Speaking of similar informations, I found something in the meantime. Oh, Jesus. Yeah. I found something
Unnecessary.
in the meantime. Apparently, in the TV cut that we mentioned of yesterday's movie, Child's Play 2, apparently the father is much more nicer, apparently, because they incorporated deleted scenes where he wasn't as much of a jackass, apparently. Weird.
Why?
No idea. That is most unorthodox.
And hey, look, it's Mr. Shove It Up Your Ass on the previous film.
Yeah.
Yes.
This looks like this looks like the discount version of the boardroom from RoboCop.
Yeah, how about that for $1?
So apparently, after the events of the second film, once again the company came under scrutiny, which I guess means that this time the authorities were maybe starting to take into account that perhaps a doll really was possessed and tormented that child.
So, if this was going to be if this was going to be RoboCop 3, all that would need to happen is for this group to be bought by a Japanese company and replace its CEO with Rip Torn, and then we're complete.
This is 1991, so the economic boom was basically almost over.
I just want to make money.
Oh my god.
But yeah, no,
Nobody
That-
cares.
Nobody cares.
that children is what we...
Checks box office of this
Yes,
movie. Yeah,
brother.
that's true.
That kind of metatextual irony, children, is what we call dramatic irony in the writing business.
Yeah, remember the original point of this franchise was to satirize 80s kids commercialism. So
I will say this though, like, well, whatever damage this movie may have done to the brand, it definitely revitalized itself with 4 to the point where you had Chucky appearing on freaking WWE with Rick Steiner.
Uh-oh.
He's in this one, isn't he?
Yeah, remember what the intro showcased? The blood seeped into the making of the, not wax, but the gum, the substance that's there to the skin of
Yeah,
he
again,
wants you for a best friend.
I
He
will.
even chomps a cigar.
Go on, Joe.
Yeah, I will say, yeah, this movie is where they clearly were starting to play extremely fast in this with how Chucky's abilities works, because, okay, in the last film, it made sense, the core was still the same. Here, though, it's the blood seeping into another doll here, and trust me, that is not the only contradiction we get into how Chucky's abilities work, but for now, let's enjoy this nice scene at night.
Honestly, with each movie, the reasons why he comes back always become less believable. So at this point, I just
More and more contrived they take.
Oh, okay. The reason it stands out with Free the most is like, well, okay, this movie has a bit of an identity issue where it's trying to be taken more seriously in some regards, but clearly does a bout of like, I don't know, shrug. Like, let me put it like this. The first 2 movies, while they could be taken seriously, they at least had, a sense of tongue-in-cheek nature. Not so much with this one. 4 would later go on to correct this by, again, pretty much going the comedy horror route. And by that point, we had stuff like Voodoo for Dummies, so there, it's a lot more excusable. Here, though...
Voodoo for Dummies is a fantastic tie-in to the movie.
Yeah. Well, again, not this movie, but the next one. Here, though...
I know the next.
Here, though, they try and retcon stuff in, and it leaves you wondering, wait, what? Like, the movie acts like, oh, this is how it always was. Like, at least the future movies are a lot more honest with, oh yeah, this is kind of just a new plot we're kind of pulling out of our ass, but hey, insert reason Chucky learned this or that here and there.
This also counts as well for Don himself, because Don Mancini has said that this is his least favorite movie of the franchise for obvious reasons. Brad Dourif also said the same thing. He also didn't particularly both of them regret the extraneous circumstances that it was to make this movie. Yeah, basically.
Oh yeah, the downdraft on the stock market.
Well, the chart says, Jova.
Yeah, the chart
Stonks.
says.
This may have been a bit of the global recession.
Remember, 1991, like he said, it's where the Japanese economic boom was, going a bit down. If not,
The bubble
Also,
was
uh,
beginning to
gone.
burst.
Don't
Yeah.
worry though, by the
Um,
mid-90s, we'd be seeing a big economical boom over here.
Well, we've got the cinematographer is a name you guys. The
Doing?
cinematographer is a name you guys might recognise.
Whomster?
John R. Leonetti.
Oh,
That name sounds
what is he doing
familiar.
here? I can't with this.
Remember, before he became a
that's
director, he was a cinematographer.
Okay, I need to ask seriously because I know it's more.
And
of a
this was
stereotype,
this was actually his first movie as the head cinematographer.
I need to ask because it's more of a stereotype than anything. But what's the appeal of that mini golf thing for CEOs?
No, precision.
It's just good practice for putt-putt.
It's
I
also
guess.
it's also a way for them to often, meditate or calm down or whatnot, focus and all that jazz.
It's a rich
A
people
de-stressor,
sport.
yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say what Fury said. It feels more like rich people flexing. Like,
I mean, what do the rich do but golf?
many things, Jay.
Golfing
than
is
ruin
like one
people's
of the more
lives.
harmless things they do, and even that causes problems.
Maybe for the other stuff they also use a golf club, and I really hope they don't.
Well, where is that darn ball?
It was a
Come on.
yokai's fault.
Look at him being contradictorily
A
helpful.
dark and gritty yokai watch.
That's
Yeah, Shadow Side.
Expected.
yeah.
Which
that-
poster? The dollar? Oh, okay. Sure. Sorry.
Wait.
You're under arrest for corruption.
Ooh.
Guy, it's a car. That wouldn't have hurt you.
A toy car, to be precise.
Oh, so this is what really happened to Sid after Toy Story.
From this part on, Mr. President, you have to take
I'm
good
also
care of your
reminded,
toys.
I'm
'Cause
also
if you
reminded that-
don't, we will know.
I'm also reminded of that one, probably the one Rugrats episode that I ever watched, but as them sneaking into like a toy factory. Oh,
We toys see everything. So play nice.
this conversation feels very one-sided.
Remember, the idea is that the dolls react to sounds of
I
voices.
know, I know.
So it's actually possible to put a good guy doll conversing with another good guy doll.
You put them in a circle.
The joy of
Oh
parents.
god, it really...
Whack.
Okay, I get it why he used the golf club, but I was hoping that he was gonna use the cigar to kill him.
That is one thing some people say about this
Okay,
movie.
that line is cool. That is cool, though.
It's kind of campy.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'm getting the fuck out of here.
I'm not questioning this. I'm just.
So
gonna
is
go.
it... Oh my god, it just slowly gets up.
Ow. Not really, you missed his ass.
You hit...
You didn't even get him in the center of the pack.
Who told you I was
actually,
aiming
he-
for their doll? I mean, who's not to
Center
say-
of the body.
Who's to say that I was not aiming towards that specific spot?
Ow.
There you
Oh,
go. Now
course.
this is actually the chord thing too. There you go.
Hooray! Chucky has defeated capitalism!
Yay!
Wait, are we sure? Are we sure Chucky's the villain in this?
He seems like a good guy
Oh
to
god,
me.
he face planted on the Pedro, he face planted on the glass like that guy at the beginning of the core.
Yep. Yeah, that's actually a line from
That is a
from
psychotic as fuck line.
Yeah, I love that. That line is actually one of the fan favorite lines. Like for as lesser as this movie can be, it does have its moments like that line. And again, it's Brad Dourif because I mean Brad Dourif can make anything gold. So
You're still after him? You already know that it failed the last time.
Ran into
Well,
Kent
remember,
Military School.
Andy is the only way he can get into a new body, as the
welcome
previous
to our
2
new
films
setting,
have.
boot camp.
Wait, military isn't military school where you send your really bad kids?
More or less.
It
Or kids you don't want to
depends.
deal with.
Yes, there is that
Or-
is a thing. Yes, but it's not the only reason. I will argue.
Or kids that are generally, that grew up between military families. And it becomes
to-
tradition.
Not to mention, Dwebs, after all the traumatic experience he experienced in the previous 2 movies, is it really any wonder that Andy didn't grow up the best?
Especially if authorities assume that he was the one who did all the killing, so they think he's a problem child.
Yeah.
And the military absolutely straightens people out.
This is an idea that the later movies will also bring up, the fact that all of these experiences with Chucky basically ruined his life. Which again, yeah, and basically, but that becomes used in very well satisfying.
There you
matters
go.
and
They mentioned here the fact that she's
Under
covered,
special
you know,
care.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good job. It's a good job. It's a good job. You actually choose to go here. Otherwise, this would be very dangerously close to national service.
I will say, when it comes to Justin Wally, I can believe him as an older Alex Vincent. I think he does. Yeah, I can believe it. Like, I think the similarities are enough.
Oh boy, here we go.
I'm gonna cut you some slack, but you're a troublemaker. Oh, brother.
Yeah,
Once
okay.
again, Andy finds himself in a situation where
Fantasies.
someone superior to him is a complete jackass.
You're not a kid anymore. I'm
Or
16.
no
You're not a kid
reason.
anymore.
Let me put it like this. If you didn't like it in the second film, bad news. This movie ramps it up to 11, because a lot of people in this movie...
Frustration is getting bigger.
I mean, I'm not-
Bang, bang, bang. Pull my devil's trigger.
I'm not the best person in terms of experience with it, but isn't this just how recruits are treated?
This bomber
No,
jacket.
no. Okay, look,
Pedro, let me put it this way. It's not the other extreme. He doesn't have to, kiss his feet or anything, but, not being a dick to him. It's easy as that.
Oh, this weirdo.
Also, what is he playing? A Game Gear?
Yep.
like, okay, despite what stereotypes you may hear...
No, he's not.
Oh, never mind. It's,
That's a miserable...
It's the Atari Lynx.
And yes,
Also,
this is
I saw this actor somewhere else.
The black kid, that's Jeremy Sal...
No, the barber.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
I actually like the guy who plays the barber. Is exactly what we want in a Chucky antagonist, like that.
He's such a weirdo.
That kind of guy that you just love to hate.
Although he constantly says
What a
they're
freak.
bald when they're not really. But anyway, though, despite what stereotypes you may see about military school, yes, they can be strict, but they're not, overtly dickish. The yelling
Let me
thing
put it
is...
this. Ooh.
I guess it's... Sorry. Go on.
Wrong movie.
Let me put it this way, Pedro. Full Metal Jacket is probably given an idea of the worst cases.
Basically...
I guess my friend got unlucky because I had a friend of mine who did.
Oh, it can happen. It's just not the normality that people think it might be.
I guess.
There's
I can tell that my IRL friend actually did have people who generally were like this to him, he told me.
They're strict, but usually they're meant to be constructive enough, or at least motivational. Not demoralizing because, well, hey, if you just demoralized people in the military, that would probably not get as much production as you would hope. And hey, Andy, just in time, there's the old commercial that traumatized you.
Yep. Remember, this is the same commercial from the first movie.
Mm-hmm.
Why was that in slow motion?
Oh, those initials didn't hold up well.
Everywhere I go, this thing just haunts me.
Weren't you supposed to be shaved down a little more so that they,
That's
quote,
fine.
couldn't grab your hair and slit your throat?
I mean,
he rocks it well. I preferred the other cut, but
yeah, like his overall faces that he's making. Yeah, I can definitely. It definitely looks like the faces Alex Vincent makes in the previous movie. So yeah, I actually think this actor was a good choice.
here's to hoping that the military school will actually get him some combat training and not just discipline.
Especially considering how they probably have to do the casting process in a hurry. So
What?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Well, I guess bullies.
Let me guess.
I think wasn't this guy one of the bullies in Stephen King's It? It was around this time.
Let me guess. Let me guess. The commander is like, the bullies probably taught him a lesson in self-resilience or some shit.
But don't you see, guys? Like this is early '90s logic where he has glasses. That means he's a geek, and geeks are not cool. Let's bully him.
Did you say he's a lieutenant colonel? My ass, he is.
Wow, lucid shoes.
Like, it's been a while since I've said this, and I can't remember what commentary I've said it in, but I'm going to say it again. Riders, sometimes people just need glasses, right?
Also,
this thing died eventually, so go on.
I know, but it's like, sometimes we just need them, and it's the same with inhalers.
I recognized the barber is played by Andrew Robinson, who was in stuff like Star Trek Deep Space Nine. So that's pretty cool. The X-Files, a lot of TV series, Murder, She Wrote, of course. And also, he was Larry in the first Hellraiser. So, yeah.
Oh, boy.
I mean, you're talking to him.
Not a care in the world, sir. Ah, brother.
Sheldon.
I actually had something that I wanted to say that does, but I'm
there you go.
trying to find the.
Played by Travis Fine. Anyway, this was literally his first role.
Andy, you've seen literal dead bodies and the way that they're made. This guy doesn't do shit.
Fun fact, Webs. You know the guy who played the colonel earlier. Donna originally wanted him to be like as he put it, an R. Lee Hermie archetype. You know, but unfortunately,
Get away from him.
But unfortunately, they couldn't find someone who filled that particular requirement. But again, they were kind of in a hurry, so they eventually had to settle for someone. So.
Oh, hello.
Andrew Robinson, yeah.
Wait.
Yeah, this is the character I was talking about earlier.
The number 5.
What? Yeah, why was that?
Why is she a lower rank than the others?
What?
So, if you notice the emblems on their hats,
Yeah.
it signifies their rank. Sorry, I'm kind of enjoying this scene right now because fuck this guy. First off, no student anywhere would get Lieutenant Colonel.
She's played by Perry Reeves.
Yeah.
But yeah.
This was also her first role. Huh.
Maybe it's that 90 segment, but most of the guys, including the one he was just harassing, are E4, which is it's dependent on what branch you're in.
She was also in she was in Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Also, she did a lot of TV stuff.
And I feel like the scene is dragging out a bit.
Yeah, just a tad.
Like,
I would
yeah.
Showing
I would say that the pacing is still flowing decent enough for now,
Well, I
but you
think
can tell that some of the scenes are being still stretched.
Well, I will argue they had to establish that she's a capable soldier.
I
Oh
mean,
no!
Some way.
I think Pedro. The thing is that not that. It's more like the fact that they're condensing those three characters' introduction, facing the lieutenant in the same scene group. It's basically a big scene that includes three segments. Instead, they might have had been separated.
I personally just feel like the scene drags on. Like, yeah, we get it. The guy's an asshole. We can move on. This movie doesn't feel as good with the joyful tone. And yeah, I get it, joyful tone in a Child's Play thing, but I mean, more
this
quirky.
is a good guy doll in the box.
Yes, I wonder what's in there.
Yeah, seriously. We know that it's.
I love how
the
he can
Chuckster
just
will
take someone else's mail like that.
Also, you know what this means, Shira and Jay? This is I'm mailing myself in a box challenge gone wrong.
Oh, you think that's right? In the later movies, he even talks about how nowadays with the internet, it's much easier to email myself to people.
Fuck.
Bit of
Oh my god, it's hysterical to think.
Okay, first of all, this is really going to be one of those movies where literally every character that's not the main character or this kid are absolute dickheads.
You know
to
what,
people.
buddy? Just
Also,
just keep it.
In early 1993 here in the UK, a
Take it
2-year-old got murdered by two people, and the father of one of the murderers. Bear in mind, the victim was 2, and the murderers were both 10-year-olds. One of the murderers' fathers had rented this movie a few years prior. That led to the press to believe that the killers were inspired by this movie. While quite a few people were like, no, this film got banned in the UK till 2002.
Huh.
Well, this is the UK, the country that banned Clockwork Orange because apparently it caused British teens to be violent and murderers. Because as we all know, teenagers were never violent in the UK before Clockwork Orange came out. That makes sense.
Well, I wasn't gonna say it.
Yeesh.
Oh, this bit.
Kid,
Where are
run.
you going, Chuck?
My new secret. Gee, I wonder what that secret is.
Can you not be any less creepy?
Also, thank goodness that child, who is, a military child, has never heard the name Charles Lee Ray before. Not like he was an...
I
I mean,
assure
how old
you,
is he? Like
wouldn't.
7?
This is the military, not military police.
Although-
Also, Andy, Jesus, did they not teach you how to hold a gun?
No.
His shot's all the way down there.
This is America,
Again, probably because of the rushed production, they couldn't hire a gun expert.
You're
to train
holding the gun
actors.
wrong.
Oh, so he's
that's what I'm saying, Jay. Probably because of the rushed production, they couldn't afford to get gun training for the actors. I'm guessing.
so he's perfect for the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Apparently there was supposed to be a scene in which some kids sneak into the Chucky factory and discuss the myths surrounding him. And there was apparently supposed to be a security guard played by John Ritter. And although that didn't happen, Mr. Ritter ended up in Bride of Chucky
Yeah, he did.
later on.
Like I said, there's a lot of... Sorry, go on.
To be honest, even though I'd never heard him as the voice since the UK has different ones, mainly I know him as being Clifford the Big Red Dog. The same
Also,
kind of-
you're aiming with the wrong eye.
It's like Jay is like that image of Metal Gear where Big Boss is, is telling the guys, "I hope you guys are aiming correctly because I can't see shit because he's aiming with the eye patch."
Basically, yeah, that's the basic gist of it, Wibbs. A lot of ideas Don had for this movie had to be scrapped because, well, we weren't going to be able to put them in because we have to shit this out in 9 months.
Sorry, I was a military cadet, so a lot of this was drilled into me, and seeing Andy in this position is
Oh, so it's like Dwebs with drivers.
yeah, I'm gonna be like this for a little while.
So, for some reason, Chucky is now trying to transfer his soul into Tyler, but hold on, that doesn't make any sense. He can only transfer his soul into Andy.
The logic
Okay,
that
so
he
no,
explained
this
the
one
logic.
does kind of make sense. He kind of explained it earlier.
Yeah, he explained it.
Unlike
I
the
was about to
last
say
body that got remade, this is indeed a new body that was reproducted.
Yeah.
And this
is
is
And-
the first.
This little thief was unfortunately the first one to see it.
Fuck.
That is a gun.
That's pedantic.
That is a category
This
of
is,
gun.
This is my gun. This is for fighting. This is for fun. Yeah, exactly. See?
Oh my god.
Yeah, so far to me, this film feels like Full Metal Jacket made on a budget of £5.
Yeah, it tells me that someone wanted to do, Full Metal Jacket, but also wanted to have, yeah, there you go, into a trash.
Without
film.
Chucky in it.
And away with you.
Yeah, I'm sure we're gonna hear you. There you
Well,
go. That's
shit! I didn't think the movie ended so fast. All right, time to get this done over with.
Oh. Is this why people dislike the film so much?
There you
Chucky
go.
gets carted off and we spend
Basically,
most...
yeah, there you go. He yells for help, and this guy thinks that there's somebody stuck in the thing, so he goes see.
bleh. You're gonna need a bath by the end of this.
Oh boy.
Yeah. I mean, when you put a setup like this, of course you're just asking for the trash compactor to be the weapon of murder.
Move. Move, guy, move. Some people can't catch a break.
Cue the music, the furnace music from Toy Story 3.
Oh.
Oh shit.
And fade to black. Pussies. Show me the fucking gore. Did we really have not the time or anything like that?
Maybe. I don't know. Well, Theo, I think you'll really like a specific kill in movie 4 then.
Oh.
Again, yeah, we didn't see the amputation properly, at least.
Oh my god! I thought they were gonna somehow blame
Him for that.
him again.
No, to be fair, he had an unshakable alibi. He was literally with the others at the,
No, don't you see? It was his fault because he's a pussy who had to have a doll sent over to him. The doll was the reason that the guy got accidentally set off the crusher.
They're not so good, you know.
Right. Well, as for the director, actually, Mr. Bender.
No, not that Bender. Go on, Dibs.
Yeah, I know. He's done some films, but he's mainly been a TV director nowadays, mainly.
Okay, why are you here now?
He did some episodes of Beverly Hills 90210, as well as stuff like Alias, Lost, a couple of Game of Thrones episodes, and more recently some episodes for a TV show called From.
So what this tells me is that this guy loves to jump into relatively complicated projects.
Basically.
Yeah.
I guess at the time he thought, hey, Child's Play, that could be a good way to make a name for myself.
Oh, it's empty. What happened?
He left.
Oh boy, my favorite object, right here.
Although this one is a bit small, even compared to the previous ones.
Well, I guess I just have to do with what I have.
At least no one can actually accuse him of overcompensating for something.
As long as it can do the stabby stab, I don't think he cares.
Yeah.
He does like to get creative, though.
And he fucking loves hospitals.
So what's he gonna do? Cut his foot?
Well, in that
How'd you
position,
even
we
find
want
his
the
room?
Achilles tendon, and keep in mind, towards the end of the 80s, beginning of 90s, there were a couple of movies that loved to do that, like Pet Sematary. There we go.
Maybe their names are written on the door.
Long time no see, Chuck.
Long time no see.
Hey, he said it.
Exactly.
Can we go home
He
now?
said it. He said it.
What was the actor's name again?
Brad Dourif.
Oh, he's so proud of you.
That's why I'm wasting time trying to kill you.
Yeah.
Remember,
It's
dude's
the
got
principle of the thing.
dude's got a time limit. Not only that, he is legit telling Andy his plan so that Andy will know specifically to protect Tyler. Dumbass.
Well, Jova, what's the fun in being an evil villain if you don't get to gloat about your evil plans to people?
No, you're not to that phase yet. Oh, dear.
Oh, boy.
I joke, but I'll admit, one of my issues with Child's Play Free is like, well, again, I'm willing to maybe foreshadow some contrivances here, but Chucky legit just telling Andy his plan, yeah, no, that's a little too far now, because if he didn't tell Andy his plan, he would have won.
Oh yeah,
You know what?
She will.
You know what, guy?
I'm
Keep
sure
it.
she will.
I'm positive that it'll never get
Also,
to her.
can we just... Okay, I forgot if the movie actually brings it up, but Andy just got his Achilles tendon just sliced.
Yeah,
The
just
movie gonna
walk it
pretend
off.
That never happened.
It's a dull knife. He didn't actually slice it with it. He just scared him with it.
Just think about this for a moment, Chiroy. A little girl,
Like a spider going along your skin out of nowhere. It's just a spook.
Yeah, just think about this for a moment, Chiroy. A little girl being offered Chucky by her older brother. What a nice, wholesome moment, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Nah, it's like the person who gifted me Sonic Genesis. Fuck off.
Can I have it?
Why would you want that?
Andy, we already know that that's a dull knife.
I've
It didn't
actually
work on
played it
you.
a cartridge.
Maybe for stabbing. Still good enough.
Oh, this is a bad look. Dude.
Like, if anything, you don't like the guy, let Chuck kill him.
Well, remember, Andy doesn't want anyone to die.
No.
Probably
Yeah, to be
also
fair,
because
yeah,
he
that would
knows
be-
that if somebody does die, he'll probably be the one who ends up getting blamed anyway.
Yeah, well, remember, the idea is that, of course, Andy is supposed to be the good guy here, so obviously the idea is that he wants to stop Chucky from killing people, obviously.
Why don't these doors have locks on them? On the inside, like, just...
Yeah, this is some military base. You think there's
Maybe this
something
is...
like that.
Well, okay, Teo, I guess this is just a really shitty military academy, I guess.
Your taxis drove in Jay.
I mean,
Well,
it's
actually, I probably know why. It's so they can scream at them at 6 a.m.
mean,
to get the fuck out of bed.
I guess it's just like any other establishment. There's bad insert establishment here, and there's good insert establishment here. Like there's bad examples and there's good examples, I guess. It just
Also,
goes on.
Shiri, make it 5:30. Let's see if I can correctly.
Yeah.
That's when the round starts.
6 was being a bit generous.
The movie
That door
itself
wasn't-
was
By the way,
movie
you're both
itself
very
was
close,
filmed
but-
at a military school in a campus specifically in Boonville, Missouri.
Yeah, Jay?
Oh.
You're both
Oh.
close, but off.
Well,
It's 5.
So Teo, big enough for you?
Yeah, that's a Bowie knife.
You really wouldn't.
No, you wouldn't.
I know, didn't you, Barkley?
It's not what it looks like.
No. That's what it looks like. Yes, he took my doll, but look, I'll explain later, okay?
So of course
He
he
took
can-
my doll.
So of course he totally has the jurisdiction to have everyone do exercises as a punishment for it.
At night.
Thief.
I don't know. Like, I get it. It emphasizes he's an asshole, but
And they have to be awake at 0500, 5 o'clock.
I guess something about this movie just feels a bit more tired about it compared to the other two movies that established assholes. Like, usually it was like, yeah, we got maybe a scene or two of an asshole being an asshole before Chucky did him in. Here, though, you'll have to wait a bit for this guy to get it, so enjoy.
You walk around in a circle.
Jesus.
Again.
Christ.
This kid has
No
seen
wonder-
dead bodies. And the
wonder-
way they're made.
No wonder some people in the military go on to become psychopaths.
Trust
You
me,
have
Dwids, it is typically
no
not.
idea how right that is.
Yeah, but it's typically not supposed to be like this, but Jesus. Oh.
Dear Charles.
Oh, funnily enough, before they hired Jack Bender, Don Mancini actually wanted to hire Peter Jackson to be the director.
I forgot to say that. Yeah.
For those who don't know, before he became famous with Lord of the Rings, Peter Jackson was pretty much famous to do indie horrors in New Zealand. So yeah, I mentioned in the past, but it was even considered for a while to the 2001 Planet of the Apes reboot, but eventually dropped, and apparently that was the better decision. No one is in
Really?
the not noticing him.
Wow, you are bad at this.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, good. You at least have some. Oh.
Finally.
I'm sorry. Fuck this B plot. I kind of want to see Andy start throwing hands.
Yeah.
It's weird how Chucky and Tyler have become the B plot. Speaking of, poor Chucky is probably pissed out his gourd. Imagine a prestigious serial killer who got his body put into a doll has been going after another person for around 10 years. And now that he's got new blood, the kid's not taking him seriously. That's incredible.
Well, I mean, at least Peter Jackson would go on to work with Bad Riff later on.
Yep.
Fair enough.
All right, the doll's alive. He's after Tyler. You know what? You're right. Forget it.
I actually like this scene for a specific reason that I'll point out.
Oh my god, the 90s hair. I forgot about it.
I know,
A remnant from the 80s.
Yeah, pretty sure that's 80s hair, actually. Just brought
Just a
over
bit
to
Yeah,
made
that
up
lived
for the party.
that lived into the 90s. But I was born in 96, so that's all I know it as.
Every person who didn't grow up during that time, every time I showed these hairdos, everybody told me the exact same thing. What the fuck were people doing with these hairstyles?
Yeah,
but
it's the 80s died in around 1994.
What's so cute about that guy?
I do like the fact that this is something that I really like. It's a nice detail that I do enjoy. The fact that she's a capable, strong female soldier, but she still can also be a typical girl who likes to talk to her girlfriend about boys.
And look up someone's psychiatric report. Kind of not your
You
business, assholes.
That's one of the weirdest way for a movie to fail the Bagdell test.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone
It's
pointed
like-
him and laughed.
it's like I said before. I mean, it's like I said before. You don't need to.
Oh, honey, put that down. Oh.
The test to make a good female character.
That's her new boyfriend now.
No, I don't think you understand. She put the file away just before she got to child blames boy.
Also, Shira, you got it wrong. It's a Freddy Krueger that says, "I'm your boyfriend now, Nancy."
Yeah.
Ah, boy.
Oh man.
I guess
Oh
these
my
girls have never
God.
heard of Chelsea Ray either.
Reminds me
Jesus
one
Christ,
time,
have you never put lipstick on your life?
One time in 2018, I was at a party and I got very drunk, and I woke up the next morning with my with an ace painted. That was refreshing as an experience. Of course.
This kid's gonna be after the whole school.
I feel like the biggest problem of that whole scene was that was not his color.
Oh, of course, it needed to
of
be
course.
having more pandan with it.
Well,
No, it just needed to be a brighter red, a little bit more red-orange. What is it? Sunset Vista?
I don't know. Just not that shade.
Yeah, it's definitely not that shade.
all right.
What in Sam Hill is going on here?
Oh, don't tell me.
I don't remember if Chucky wants to show a magic trick like the Joker for this one.
Wait,
Looks like
I
he's-
just realized. Hold on a second. I just realized. Andy threw a punch at one of the, either at the Colonel or his lackeys.
Mhm.
And all he did was put him back in line.
Yeah, apparently wasn't more reprimanded. Actually, we haven't talked about the music, Dweebs. Who's the composer?
Well, this film has two composers, actually.
Yeah.
I'll look it up.
Corey Lirios and John
John D'Andrea.
Okay.
Wow,
John
never heard of
D'Andrea.
either. Honest to God reaction.
Put him out the window.
Yeah, again into the. Hey, that's the more satisfying thing of this
Dumpsters are
franchise.
you gonna be chucked into?
Seeing Chucky gets thrown into the trash.
Is that why he's
constantly.
called? Is that why he's called Chucky?
Yes. Why not?
Oh, we chuck him in the bin.
I still have to check. Jesus. I still need to see properly what led to Chuck being a diminutive from Charles. What? And that
You
causes him a heart attack.
got
Okay.
a heart attack.
Actually, Tio.
Yeah. And
Have you seen the English version of Street Fighter 2, the animated movie?
No, just the original one.
The guys did the music for the English version of
Oh
that.
man, not the Warhammer paintings.
Oh,
Yeah,
even
Chucky's
Chucky
reaction-
just can't handle that.
Was that like a thing that was an executive mandate where they were Universal was like, you don't have time with this guy needs to die by a heart attack, and they eventually were like, fine, I guess I'm gonna wrote even Chucky surprised by it.
I guess I'll say this. I do feel like a few of the kills in this movie aren't as creative or cool as the kills in the previous movies. Like,
No,
the
they're
CEO guy, just a simple golf club and wire, like, relatively mundane. The most creative one has been
There
the
it is.
dumpster guy, and even still, we just saw his arm get cut off, essentially.
Did you put the flag at half-mast?
That's what they were doing at the trumpet sign.
So the trumpet was playing Reverie in order to wake the students up. That's when the flag's usually lifted.
Jay,
The problem is, I didn't actually
you
get
know
to see
this
whether or
shit
not.
better than any of us, I think.
That's what I'm saying. So the problem is, they didn't actually show which position the flask was.
I think it's
Flag.
safe. I think
The flag.
I think it's safe to assume it's at half-mast. Oh yeah, you're still in this movie, barber guy.
Dude, you've got a bald fetish.
yeah.
I guess
You
the
did
girls
that on
are.
purpose.
I guess the
You
girls.
did that on purpose, lady.
I guess the girls are immune to it.
Women were allowed into military school, however, they were technically never officially considered part of any form of military, so they never worried about seeing war.
And-
Which means they never had to worry about cutting hair.
I'm pretty sure by the 90s we were letting women go to war at that point.
And if anything, this movie is actually, exposing, presenting this in a more normalized context. I mean, to constantly remind, was that a girl military?
Yeah, no.
I mean, they're not really making a big deal about the girls being in the military.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Really.
At the very least, the movie, is for the time it was made, this was, refreshing.
And
She's not the only girl here.
And hey!
Yeah, the school as a whole, that's what I mean.
And
kind of a bit like how the Wizard, that one of his only saving grace, the fact that it presents, gamers of any gender in a proper way.
Oh gee, what a shock. Not making a big deal about a woman in a strong position tends to be better writing than trying to highlight, oh, look at this strong individual female character! Look at how strong she is! She's strong because I say she's strong.
That's that's actually a really good thing. Again, it's also why I pointed out that I really like how she's she's just as capable as the others, while also still having a girlfriend that she likes to talk boys with. Because hey, guess what, modern writers, girls can have more than one character trait.
But the only problem is Paige. She shares another thing that every other character in this movie has.
Blandness.
Yeah, pretty boring.
Yeah, again, I mean, this movie isn't the worst thing ever, but again, it feels like it doesn't leave as much a lasting impact.
It's Chucky on autopilot.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, and again, yes, there are fine characters, but they're just fine. And yeah, I get it. Makes them an asshole, but it doesn't feel like they stand out. Heck, even Andy himself kind of is going through the motions, despite the fact that his arch nemesis is back, honestly.
Yeah.
He's not.
I'm still completely...
what is this, Fort Polk?
I still completely believe that if Don was given proper enough time to write the script, he would have written stuff like we've already established. He's dropped a lot of things he wanted. I genuinely believe that if he had more time, he would have written a better script than this.
Which, to be fair, I think we saw he can helm a better film with Child's Play 4. Again,
This is just a victim of Universal stupidity.
On the plus side, at the very least, every time Chucky goes after someone, Andy's nowhere near them, so he can't get blamed.
Remind me, what year was Jurassic Park 2?
1997,
I think.
Okay, what about the first one? I forgot the
1993.
Because, still Universal, so I wonder what tipped the scales.
Well, okay. To be fair, I attribute that much more to Steven Spielberg himself, essentially.
Yeah.
Because, look, here's the deal. When Steven Spielberg has an idea, you let that man do his magic ever since Jaws.
Oh, boy.
Why? It's just a doll.
Because he's Coco for Cocoa Puffs, Joe.
It says something that this guy makes Chucky look sane, arguably.
I will say this. This actor does a good job doing, with facial expressions. I really...
Oh, yeah, again.
Flash. I will say this. Chucky as, is on point with the one-liners in this movie.
It probably does make up for how kind of lame the kills are. Yeah, the one-liners are there, but come on, you had a barber thing. You could have done way more with that than just simply slit his throat.
I mean,
also, oh, cool! We actually got someone else who sees the dolls alive.
Ooh.
Run.
Yeah.
Yes, Pedro?
Not to mention, too, if there's one thing that should be on first priority in terms of getting right in these movies, is Chucky himself, obviously. Could you imagine, Joe, a Chucky movie where they don't get Chucky right? I mean, even this movie, despite its problems, still gets Chucky right. So
yeah, from what I can recall, each movie has gotten him right.
So, I mean, the very idea of failing that, now that would definitely be something that would be egregious.
Granted, getting Chucky wrong is like getting the Joker wrong. It's you have to legit try.
Suicide Squad. Sorry.
Honestly, okay, yeah, no, Suicide Squad was one of that rare things. Granted, I attribute a lot of that to just the absolute anti-charisma of that actor, Jared Leto.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the writing
Paintball
helped
game.
either.
For a
Yeah.
reminder, because I don't know, I know that the regulations in America are different than the one in Europe. Paintball is actually slightly prohibited in other European countries because the calculation that people had about the actual efficacy of the paintballs in terms of joules of potency was deemed a bit too much, and as such, it has to be strictly regulated.
Oh yeah, we
you
definitely
you can do it. Yeah, you can do it around here, but it has to be in special areas. Although there's an episode, there's a famous episode of an old children's soap opera called Biker Grove that shows the dangers of doing that unregulated. Like one of the main characters gets blinded, and they stay blind.
Mm-hmm.
Again, there's no welcome to Britain where there's no magical fix.
like Jova was saying, the
Oh,
characters
this
work.
bit. Okay, so what Chucky's doing here is replacing the paintball rounds with actual rounds. No, this doesn't work. Like, legit. These sort of guns that the military are made to not fire actual real rounds.
That is true, Jova, but it will allow for a really cool idea for how Chucky will get people
There's also
killed.
the fact that
I'll allow it.
There's also once again the fact that the Chuckster is fast as fucking doing this shit.
Anyway, you were saying?
No, but yeah, like Jova was saying, yeah. The characters work on a basics level, like for example, like they work for what they're intended. But yeah, because the characters, of course, don't go really above their basic archetype, which again is something that really showcases how this script was written in a hurry.
I think the best way to put it is that in a vacuum, this movie is just fine. Heck, if this were like the very first Child's Play movie, this would have been fine. It's just that this is coming off of 1 and 2, which, just got better with each sequel, and this feels like a nosedive.
I still would argue that even taking in a vacuum, just this movie, ignoring the others, our protagonist is still the weakest link, not helped by the actor's performance, because, yeah, I'm sorry, but this guy really cannot act from the movies that I saw him in.
I'll be honest though, I blame it mainly on the script because Andy really doesn't get to do much till the end of till like near the final climax in this movie.
Like I said, I wasn't even particularly convinced in him as the protagonist in the Dungeons and Dragons movie. When Marlon Wayans, the token stereotype of the team, manages to have more charisma and conviction than your protagonist. Yeah, that's not the intended way. I
mean, granted, at least he had Jeremy Irons to carry him during that final fight, so there was that.
But yeah, at this point, I feel like we're far enough into the movie where I can say it's like, let's just say, without spoiling anything, as you're going to see in the later movies, Andy's love life as an adult is he has a lot of trouble getting non-existent because his past his reputation from his past haunts him and it drives women away.
His life in general kind of sucks.
Yeah, basically. So one thing that I definitely suggest Dawn would do at some point is bring back the Silva. That would be an interesting idea to maybe have her come back, because she's the one, as you're going to see later, she's actually the one girl who understands him and why he is the way he is, as you're going to see later.
Although
so I feel like it would be a good idea to bring her back. She's actually one of the better things in this movie, in my opinion.
Although that would be an awkward thing to tell the kids. Hey, Dad, how did you and Mom meet? Well, we met in military school, and your mom looked through my personal psychiatric records like a creep, and that got her to understand me.
She knew I was the one after looking up how crazy I was. Oh. I can fix him, is what she said.
Relationship.
I feel like it's one of those things where, like I said, I feel like I can kind of get it on a basic, physical attraction level. Like she sees him, she kind of finds him cute, and she just, it's not like she's super deep in love with him or anything like that. It's just that she's it's not so much that she's hopelessly in love with him or anything like that. It's more so that she's interested in him, sure, and she's just going with the flow.
On an out of universe level, it's more. I argue it's more of a case also. It was still the early '90s, so it had to be expected. Some kind of shipping at this point. So again, it was done having to work with what the tide was bringing.
I just have to wonder, what was the
Damn.
big... Whoa.
Oh,
He's just missing it. He's like, you know what?
You know the
Murder
weird...
bonus put away. Screw it. Let the kid get a little.
Wow. Honestly, that would be surprisingly wholesome of Chucky. And I could maybe see Charles just giving Andy that one.
It's more of a case of there's this. I think that's mostly unintentional, but there's this sort of unintentional irony in the idea that because of this scaling, and I think it's basically gonna continue also in the following movies. But in a way, the fact that time is skipped and Chucky is following Andy throughout his life. In a way, be influencing him in a kind of way, he's becoming really kind of not a family figure to him, just a very fucked up one.
Well, like you said, he's his Uncle Charles. But okay, I do have to question, look, it's one thing to make movies like maybe 2 years apart from each other. But literally doing movie back to back to back without a plan. And the thing is, it's not even like the original kid playing Andy had grown too old for the role. Like, that's usually why they do time skips like these or whatnot. But no, again, why did Child's Play 3 really need to come out that quickly? Was there...
Jova, you know the answer to that. We've got to have...
Money.
I
find it hilarious that I am partly convinced that the initial scene where the CEO gets brutally murdered by Chucky was inserted as done as a sort of a frustration vehicle towards Universal.
And I get it, money. I get it, money, but normally studios recognize that, again, unless the plan from the get-go is to, release these movies back to back to back, normally sometime in between the sequel would come. And I do have to wonder, did they really need to have this one take so many years into the future overall?
My guess, Joe, is kind of similar to what Theo said earlier, but they knew that the fad of slashers was kind of dying out, so they wanted this out ASAP to see if they could squeeze just a bit more money out of this before this thing went away.
Just to give you an idea of where we were around this time, Joe, if I recall correctly, Freddy's Dead: The Final Nightmare had been, if not around the corner, already released, which was the lowest point, to the point where New Line was like, fuck it, we're not doing it until Wes Craven decided to return for his metatextual movie. Friday the 13th, fuck, that was in an even worse shape at that point.
Didn't Friday the 13th literally become a zombie by that point?
It's complicated. If I recall correctly, it wasn't too long after Jason Takes Manhattan, which is argued by many people as the worst movie in the series.
And what about the Halloween series? Was that around the time when Michael Myers got killed up by frickin' Buster Rhymes?
I don't even remember what continuity was at that point, to be honest.
No, okay, here's the thing. In the original timeline, the one who officially kills off Michael Myers for good is rapper Buster Rhymes.
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
I am not kidding. And
Jesus.
True, I guess.
Oh, how betrayed.
Okay, you got me. I'm a bad guy.
Boy.
You just got shivved by a preteen. Yeah, Chucky, maybe you're starting to...
Chucky's working with limitation, but he demonstrated to possess super...
You know what's ironic? So... Chucky just loaded literally all the guns. All they gotta do is point it at him.
Well, to be fair, they don't know that they're loaded with live ammunition.
Mm-hmm.
No, we gotta shit on Andy some more.
Uh-oh.
Now is not the time.
Oh yeah, remember it's the annual war games and all that.
And also, yeah, we got Colonel Hardhouse
Son of a
over here.
bitch.
Okay. Any insult directed towards this sod is a win in my book.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's not even fun. He's just discount Arlie Ermy, like double discount Arlie.
It's more of a
Ermy.
case, Dwaves, that you just cannot wait for him to die, but the movie just refuses to do it.
Again, like, I get it. He's an asshole. And yes, we have had established assholes in Child's Play films before, but they never had this much screen presence without the comeuppance yet. Like, there needs to be a good balance for this sort of stuff.
It says something that so far the most memorable character in the movie is the hairdresser, and he's dead.
Yeah, God rest his crazy soul.
Relax, Barkley. It's only paint. Oh, this is gonna be bad.
I'm surprised he didn't just turn around and say, "A good soldier is never scared. Now stand up straight."
Well, you're all gonna need therapy after this.
Well,
There
except
was
Andy.
no-
At this point, he's just used to it.
Is this why there was no Chucky film for 7 years?
After this, sorry, Dwebs, I'm pretty confident Don was knackered. This production was
Yeah.
very exhausting.
Well, and again, remember, this movie bombed, so I'm
Yeah,
guessing...
that didn't help, obviously.
I'm
You
guessing...
only traded. First off, my God, you guys can't shoot for shit. Secondly, you only traded the red teams for bullets?
Introduce a little bit of chaos, Jay.
This is why military schools are a bad idea. Of course, they're not going to be good shots. At best, they're like 17.
Oh, here we go.
And there you go. That's how the asshole gets killed by a random accident because Chucky switched the bullets. Yeah, this is the kill that I'm agreeing with Jova that is so lame because Chucky's intervention only tangentially. I really wanted to see Chucky martyr the guy, but no.
Well, he's honestly.
That
he's
guy,
dead.
Whitehurst, is probably going to need the most
Let me
of
put it
therapy.
this way.
Honestly,
wait,
he's this guy. I'm quite finished yet. Honestly, it wouldn't have mattered who killed him. To be honest, the guy was such an insufferable dick that he could have died, and I wouldn't have cared who did it. As long as
I
he's
would.
dead.
I definitely would. No, the only reason that it could have been worse if he at the end of the day he actually got away with it, but thankfully no.
Really?
See, I told you guys something like this would happen. They blame him even though there's no way it could have been his fault.
Unfortunately, we have that grenade problem. Come on, Whitehurst, find the courage.
You're
So he's gonna become Captain America.
okay.
No.
He's a goddamn hero, but he should have just jumped on it with his bag. That would have saved him.
Thinking at a split second reaction, Jay.
I'm a military cadet. I've got all of these now. It's just Epstein. Oh, that's not a name that'll survive.
It's pandemonium up here.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I think the movie is far enough for me to say that the score is so weaker compared to the previous movies.
Oh yeah, that's right. There's music in this.
We mentioned the composers previously, but I wanted to wait a bit more to before judging. But
Sure.
Wow, who'd have thought it? A simple exercise results in
What was that one
casualties.
Halloween movie? Oh yeah, that's gonna narrow it down. What was that one horror movie that took place in a theme park in the late 2010s?
Final Destination. I forgot which specific one.
No. It wasn't It wasn't part of the series. It was like Hellville or something like that. No one could take it, and no matter who people tried to tell it, because it was a horror-themed amusement park, no one would take it seriously.
Goosebumps?
I don't know.
But yeah,
It sounds like the plot of one of the Goosebumps.
I think
books.
I think one of the frustrating things is, dude, you had Chucky at a military school filled with all these weapons and gadgets, and yet somehow most of the kills feel pretty lame.
Yeah, it's one of those things where kind of similar to, what Joe was saying earlier. Like if you just like in a vacuum, like if you just watch this movie in a vacuum, it's harmless despite its problems. Like I've seen much worse. It's just that like when you actually put it in context as the follow-up to Child's Play 2, it really feels lackluster.
Not to mention,
it's called Hellfest. That's what it is.
Not to mention also
2018.
Not to mention also the context of when this movie was released. As Tio has said, the slasher film genre was kind of in a bit of burnout. Also, that was a Stan Lee lookalike. What the heck?
No, don't you see now, Pedro? This is the same theme park in Darkman. There's in the corner is Liam Neeson telling his love interest, "Take the fucking elephant." I need to show the rest of you Darkman at some point.
As for the score, too, who knows? Like they probably only had like 3 months to do the score.
And to be fair, I understand that cases like Joey's actually composing a score in like a week or something. It's more of a miracle, and we should not expect that for granted.
Wow, what movie was that?
Honestly, stuff like this really shows how incredible it is that Ace Attorney 2 just...
And yeah, Chucky killed this guy off screen.
Oh.
This is how lazy we're getting.
Well, to be fair, he also killed the woman off screen. The foster mother.
Yes, Dubs.
What movie was that where he actually did the music in a week?
First Nino Cooney, I think.
No, Theo. That was... No. Well, okay. He finished composing in a week, but it was also the recording, the orchestration.
That's what I mostly meant.
Anyway, I have to say though, stuff like this shows how incredible it is that Justice for All turned out as good as it did, despite that having to be done in the span of just a few months. Like, that one had good music, relatively good story overall, and... well, yeah, it managed to be good. And yes, like I said, this is the movie where Chucky finally gets to wield a gun.
Boy, I love it, but because they had to stay in size, all the guns and knives, but most of them at least, the Chuck has to get are small.
It's so nice getting to see Andy in command, considering he spent the last 10 years in fear of this doll.
Okay.
Now he's chasing it down.
Mm-hmm.
I would say the production value for these attractions are relatively high for being that kind of theme park.
Especially if
but
it's
without
a
any
carnival.
proper plot, no wonder it's kind of a flop.
Fun fact: it seems to be that as of this year, all the first 5 Chucky movies have actually been all properly remastered straight from the original camera negative in 4K using 4K scans. It was the original trilogy in 2022 and both Bride and Seed in 2023. So these movies have actually been very well preserved.
Thank goodness.
They definitely came for a good time.
Movie 6, yeah. And movie 6 came out in 2013 and was shot on more modern digital equipment, so that one was never in danger of. So that one will be fine. It was already in HD to begin with. So.
Oh,
Is that a monkey?
he's got a gun! And now a literal shootout, and she's down.
Kind of reminds me of that Simpsons episode where Homer hires a private detective, but because he cannot pay him, the private detective wants to kill him, and they have the showdown in the Hall of Mirrors. Like that's the weird thing. These child's play movies like kind of ending kind of like with this and a shootout in a theme park.
It's just you and him, Barclay. Mano y doll.
Mano y doll mano.
Oh, apparently this thing doubles as a roller coaster, too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you saw that it was on tracks a little bit
Yeah,
ago.
For
Well-
being one of those small theme parks, that are on
Sure.
the outskirts of a place, the production value is relatively high.
Well,
Oh,
you see, Tim,
yeah.
we spare no expenses.
Well, yeah, Jay, I saw that it was on a track. However, just because it's on a track doesn't always mean it's gonna be a roller coaster. Like, plenty of haunted house rides are on a track.
Well, yeah, no, I get that. It's actually kind of cool to see that it was.
Brr.
You couldn't be more serious if you tried.
And he got stuck in the props.
He is oh boy. Okay, I would think
Why is that a real blade?
I know, right?
Jova and Jay, we're talking about the same country that had a Disney theme park using real human bones for one of its attractions.
Well,
I
look,
can't
look,
believe this.
look, bones are one thing, hey, Disney wanted to do it for the authentic look. But even they
No.
stopped the line at, a real blade. Like, the closest we've gotten to is when The closest we've gotten to is when Universal Studios used real shark teeth on the original Jaws ride.
Don't
This
you see?
is a 2-bit amusement park. Using an actual blade for any ride is architectural suicide.
That-
You
Yeah.
are dead in the water if something happens.
That
Don't
is-
you see, Jay, is extra immersion. They really want you to feel like you're being cut.
But Jay,
This isn't Hellfest.
but here's the thing, though. Jay does have a point, though. This is a carnival. Carnivals normally do not have that budget. Oh,
Ow.
again, like,
The things that knock people out in this movie series.
okay, I'll say this. Like, well, if I were to bring an aspect back from this movie, it would definitely be Tyler.
Really?
Yeah, Tyler. I mean, I think he's fine enough. Again,
I feel like
again, that's
when
the thing, though, Jay, is like, I kid you not. Child's Play 3 has, like, kind of nothing except, unless you count Andy really representing it in this series, whereas pretty
Is
much...
his actor still doing stuff?
Not sure, but to be fair, there were certain actors who hadn't done other stuff yet until the Chucky series who came back for that, so I could see
Sure.
him maybe coming back for that.
I feel
This
like,
movie would raise an entire point if Andy screams playtime's over when he shoots Chucky.
I will.
Never mind, he's not getting to shoot Chucky.
I will argue, Jova, that God, it's always so hard to pronounce his actual name. The actor who plays Devon in the series, pretty much, you can kind of see him as a spiritual successor to Tyler.
I mean, again, like, if they want to bring something back to represent Child's Play 3, I'd be all for Tyler coming back.
Yeah, his name is Bjorgvin, I think. Bjorgvin? I don't know how you pronounce this name. Come
on, give a...
Yes. Yeah, that's also a payoff. Andy has to finally learn how to shoot a gun. There we go.
Just shoot his throat or something.
That's what he was trying to aim at, Dweebs. That was your line? Yeah. Come on.
Come on, Andy, you had such great one-liners in the previous two films.
Like someone said, I think Jay said, playtime's over. Okay, that's
Well, like the first time I heard that in a movie used to that effect was when I saw Hot Fuzz.
Of course, it all comes back to the knife.
The knife's like the... Can you call it Chekhov's gun?
And here we go.
And ladies and gentlemen, this is why Chucky will have his iconic appearance for pretty much most of the upcoming movies.
Well, the next two specifically.
Well, actually, even
Well,
Curse.
survived.
Wow. That
technically,
did shit to the body.
Technically, in Curse, he still has it, actually.
And Colt as well, remember that Chucky in particular. And it was
the attraction explode.
And it was arguably his most iconic look, since that's when suddenly Chucky got all those media appearances, including the WWE show with Rick Steiner. But yes!
Or the WCW.
WCW.
A competitor to WWE, Joe, but just roll with it. Go on.
Unfortunately, yeah. Andy might be under arrest.
For murder?
Well, apparently, if he fucked up so many things, apparently, in trying to get to Chucky, and he doesn't have a good explanation for it.
And that's the thing. That's Andy's end for this. For all his troubles,
Yeah,
he gets carted off and arrested.
And guess what?
Hmm?
Hold on. Wait for it. The movie just ends.
Yep! Like, we
To be
don't...
fair, the previous movie ended like this. So.
Have I mentioned that this movie was produced in a massive hurry?
Look, they're literally turning off the lights.
Okay.
They're turning off the
Yeah,
lights.
this is.
Okay. Here's the thing. Say what you will about the previous movies, but they at least ended on a happy note, The doll was defeated. We could finally rest, Like, the first movie ended with them being happy that Chucky was finally dead. The second movie ended with Andy triumphantly leaving the factory with Kyle. Here, Andy's under arrest to be blamed for everything. I guess Chucky is gone. We don't even see a last bit from Tyler, and his love interest, if we can even call her that, just gets carted off to the hospital. That's it. Everyone go home.
So, just to ask a preemptive spoiler out of because I'm just that curious, when is the next time that Andy re-enters the picture in the series?
Movie 6.
Okay, then.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, till next movie, we're going to introduce another big, important figure of the Child's Play franchise, Jennifer Tilly.
Oh, yeah.
Well, in the meantime, final thoughts for this one then. Dibs.
Dibs.
Wow, so that was Discount Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah.
So basically, it's like when he was in a hurry to write the film script. Don was like, okay, I know what I'll do. I'll take Full Metal Jacket, a generic horror movie set at a theme park, and I'll put Chucky in it.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
There.
No wonder.
That's all he had time to put together.
Well, yeah, that's why he doesn't care for this movie at all nowadays. Because it's abundantly clear that,
Hell yeah. Hell, it says something. The production was so rushed. Even the film's poster was affected.
Like, you could literally just sum this movie up as teen romance, quirky drama. Oh, and there's a killer doll in it.
For the
I
record,
can imagine the Universal executives with a fire right under the production crew's asses. Like, come on, get that shit out.
I imagine that they were practically spending nights sleeping in work.
most likely.
For the record, while one of them, the one from Chess 2, is relatively iconic, I don't think the posters for the previous two movies are also, really indicative of the series. The first one is just, a shot of half of Chucky's face while there's a thunder behind a house, which sure conveys a bit the idea. But the one of two, which is the more iconic, which is Chucky trying to use a pair of scissors to decapitate a Jack in the Box, that really not indicative of anything that happened there, because outside of eliminating the competition, Chucky doesn't go to any other toys, and he doesn't even use a pair of scissors in the movie.
Maybe they should have gotten
and
Drew
the,
Struzan to draw the poster for these.
The music to me, that was also another victim of the rush production schedule, because it feels like it definitely sounds like the two guys literally had to do the music with just like 2 keyboards.
Mm-hmm. Hell, they really didn't have time to hire an orchestra.
No, this is almost everything is seeing if I could hear that.
Yeah, and the characters, let's see. We've got generic military man, hairdresser, stereotypical military bully who probably picked up his style watching military bullies and just said, "I'll just do that." Everyone else, it's just being a bit of a dick. And then there's our main character, I mean, human one anyway, who is there.
Yeah,
he exists,
and he's in love apparently.
I don't think I'll ever come back to that, but still. And Chucky, it says something when the characters that are most fun to watch are the sadistic doll killer and the hairdresser.
I don't know. I thought it was pretty fun getting to see Andy try and fight back against the stupidity.
Well,
that'd be like if you had a Saw movie where the best character not named Jigsaw is I don't know, the guy who does the cleaning up after the traps.
I'm gonna hold you on.
I don't think anyone actually cleans up after that.
Someone's got to eventually.
Well, he's got to hide the evidence somehow.
All right. Anything else, Dubs?
Nah, that's it. It's just a lame movie with a couple of decent things in it, but it just gets overrun by just how bland everything is.
Don't worry, Dubs. The next movie will far make up for that with a lot more personality.
Which is interesting because from what I understand, there is a bit of a disconnect between fans of this trilogy and fans of the ones that came after that.
Yeah, although
it's a bit different, you see.
Yeah, again, like I mentioned, starting with Bride of Chucky, that's when they would commit to just being absolute comedy horror, which I think works for the series, and apparently it did work out for that one, since Bride of Chucky went on to become the most financially successful of all the films.
You're gonna say, Pedro?
It boils down to this. Back when the movies first came out, especially Seed of Chucky back in 2004 when it came out, it was critically panned, and even the fan reaction, even at the time, specifically, was not particularly great. And Don picked up on that, and he knew that fans wanted the movies to be scarier again, which is why Curse went back to being a more straightforward horror movie in comparison. It's kind of half and half. Some people have come around and actually enjoy Bride and Seed more. Others don't. It depends on who you ask.
Well, again, one thing to say, people did seem to enjoy Bride out the gate still. It was Seed that people started to have doubts on, and honestly, I still like Seed. Again, though, it was definitely the money that talked, because like I mentioned, Bride would go on to become the most financially successful of the films, and if it's any consolation, TL, the posters for Bride are certainly more indicative of the plot.
No, I'm taking a look at the following movies. They seem to be more on point.
Yeah, well, in that case, Joe, you should like the season 2 of the series. Season 2 of the series is basically a sequel to Seed of Chucky.
Yes, I've heard. I will say that I do get why they wanted to move more to a comedy stuff, because they were also moving more away from the Andy stuff, which, okay, even if the third movie hadn't been kind of lame, I get why they did it. 3 movies with Andy at this point. Maybe we should mix things up a bit, which they certainly did with Pride. Oh boy, did they ever.
So
yeah, that's me. It's just kind of.
Yeah, this is the weakest. It's not an awful movie. It has its moments. It does drag a little bit, though. And, yeah, I don't really care about a lot of the characters, which doesn't help when their deaths are also underwhelming. I don't know, this movie is kind of just the awkward middle child. And I get that because they had 9 months to make this movie in its entirety. Like, plan it, write it, all the other fun stuff.
Like, any project that manages to be a success under those circumstances is probably nothing short of a miracle.
A miracle work, yeah.
I mean, when we think about it, when you look at the production, the fact that this movie is not a complete disaster is actually kind of marvelous. So.
Yeah, like they did the best with what they were given, but unfortunately, you do have to look at it as it is, and as it is, it's not good.
Yeah.
It does go up from here, though, so look forward to that, at least.
Okay.
That's it.
Jay?
When they called it a valley, when you guys called it a valley the last time we were recording, you were not kidding. This movie is not good. Well, no, actually, I like this movie, but I will not defend it from criticism. A lot of its plot is all over the place, and the things that I did enjoy, seeing a 16-year-old Andy attempt to fight back against the things instead of being a scared child like everything he's been subjected to, which would have been understandable, was really enjoyable. He doesn't take shit from people after everything he's been through, and though I kept stating that he has lived through way worse, they wrote him to be as such. He has lived through 10 years of torture from this doll, 2 active and 8 inactive, and I like the way that they wrote him. But that's really the best part of this movie. Chucky's one-liners were very fun, but admittedly somewhat out of character. He tends to, for the past 2 movies, he's tended to ramble on about his revenge and kind of makes the scene, and he was barely a presence in this one, despite being the antagonist. There's also the matter of the second protagonist, Tyler, who could have been anyone, really. He is a plucky kid who manages to find a toy he really wants and takes it from another person. Has a good run of it for a little bit and then realizes the toy is evil. Honestly, he could have been replaced with any other character and probably the movie would have been able to chug along.
Like, for good measure, Jay, think about it. Tyler just disappears from the plot after Chucky falls into the fan blades.
And if I had to understand what you guys told me, he hasn't come back yet.
Sadly, no.
Wow, that's that kind of proves my point at home.
Well, it's like I mentioned, Child's Play 3 is the only movie that the series hasn't really directly referenced.
I'll give it I'll give it credit for attempting to try another angle with having Tyler be the target instead of Andy this time around, but it just didn't need it. The Andy versus Chucky angle was just way more fun in every bit. Seeing a more grown Andy fight back was more fun than Chucky going after some other kid. I'll give Tyler this. His character was fun enough that he just did not give a shit about the doll for a little while, but once he realized that the doll was trying to kill him, it fell in line with everything else.
And I guess to give him credit, he probably has implemented some of the best damage onto Chucky pre-death, seeing as how he literally shivs Chucky to catch him
I cannot
off.
believe the boy shanked him. That is funny as all hell.
I know, right?
But, yeah, that's it for the protagonist characters, and a lot of the other characters, even Kristen, his Andy's love interest, is just not really existent in the movie. 9 months really doesn't give you enough time to do anything. It's no wonder that this movie meandered out of all of them.
Mm-hmm.
It was fun. I personally loved a few of the things, but it is easily the weakest in the Child's Play series, and I can see now why.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Again, like Jova said, like even Seed of Chucky, which at the time was negatively received even more than this, among even that movie got its basic sequel in season 2 of the series recently. Child's Play 3, though, we haven't got any returning characters from this movie, no returning elements, no references. Don himself has said that this is the worst movie even in his eyes as well. And yeah, like he probably just would rather just ignore it.
Let me put it like this: I can think of some reasons why Seed of Chucky wasn't beloved at first. Like, heck, even I'll admit I prefer Bride over it. But I will say that I get the semblance that despite the negative reception it did get, more people liked that movie than there were people who actually liked Child's Play 3. Because when you get it at the end of the day, Seed of Chucky at least feels like the people involved still were, enjoying themselves. Whereas Child's Play 3, outside of Brad Dourif and the barber guy, and maybe the guy playing Shelton, I don't get that really. Okay, Tyler as well, but the kid has good wonderment and all that. But other than that, this movie feels like it's a labor. Not a labor of love, just a labor.
Yeah.
It's a weak movie, but it's pretty fun. If you want to turn your brain off and enjoy something in the Chucky series, go right ahead and put it on. But don't count it as anything more than just a side piece. It's a clear cash grab, and it was just out at the wrong time.
Oh shoot, Jay.
And with that, eyewitnesses indicate that there is a mutilated doll inside of a box fan, and he says, and I quote, "I didn't hear no bell. Oh God, what could this mean for the future?"
Jay, you actually reminded me that, not only is, this movie kind of superfluous, you legit don't need to see it, seeing as how
No,
you
not
can,
really.
okay, by the next time Andy appears, you can just assume this is him after 2, essentially.
Here's what you need to do. Andy goes to military school, and also goes through some more shit and trauma and stuff like that. That's all you really need to know. After you can basically skip this movie.
And that's again the
And
thing.
he goes to military school. Child's Play hijinks ensue. End.
All right, Tio.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, this is the biggest so far of the movies, and I pretty much said what I had to do in the movie itself. I like the one-liners, but and I compared to Jove, I like most of the kill, but the one that was sorely disappointing was, Lieutenant Douchebag. He deserved like a special kind of death, even if it was some kind of irony. Instead, he's just a victim of a casualty of a prank that, Chucky pulled that could have literally killed anyone for all we knew. Like, how about the fact, just throwing out an idea? What if when Chucky throws the grenade, the lieutenant tries to bark some more as anything, but Chucky makes him trip over it. And the irony is that he's the one that gets to be sacrificed, saving everyone else from the grenade. That would have been better in execution and concept, but presentation also took a severe downgrade. The colors are more mute, There's also a loss of identity for the location. This is just a generic military base that could be literally set anywhere, while the previous 2 movies gave us the idea of Chicago as a city, The music is awful for the most part. I only like the end credits theme, and that wasn't even that for the previous movies. No, that's not it. Not even close. I get the idea why this isn't referenced much, but I do argue that at this point, at this stage, I think the time is right to be courageous and try it at the very least.
Maybe with season 3 of the series, because it's
I've
season
seen
3.
none of them because, like I said, this was the point where I stopped because I was curious to check the franchise back when I was a teenager, and I did the first trilogy, and then I was like, yeah, this is not for me. And overall, it's still technically not the cream that I kept saying since the first movie. But regardless, this is still the lowest point easily. Fuck this. Pedro. Sorry, no, whatever. Who is next?
Me.
Silva.
Look, as harsh as I may have sounded during the sing, I don't hate this movie. Like, I have seen movies that legit give me nothing but a bad time. Like, this movie could, in the right circumstance, give me a good time. But that's the thing. It has to be like the exact right circumstance. And when a movie needs a specific circumstance to feel good, that's a sign of a problem. Like, okay, I'll just start this out of the gate here. The tone of this feels way too much slanted towards misery overall. Like, even though the characters win in the end, let's see, like, the girlfriend is in critical condition. Tyler, again, vanishes after the final fight. Like, shoot, what's gonna happen to that kid? Poor little guy. And Andy gets arrested, probably blamed for everything. Which, again, is even one less reason to watch this, because, I mean, mini spoilers, but if he did get arrested, and at this point he is at an age where he could potentially be prosecuted, either it was a temporary sentence, or he got off without any charges. Again,
Good news, he is still 16, so he's still not old enough to be properly prosecuted as an adult.
he would
But
go to
that's really the
juvenile
best we get.
hall, though.
That's probably the closest he's getting if he's convicted.
Again, like, you really don't need to see this for the overall scheme. Like, I kid you not, Seed of Chucky, despite being more of a comedy, contributes more to the overall lore than this movie, which oddly tries to be serious. Yes, we do have some wisecracking jokes and one-liners, but other than that, the tone feels way more solemn in this movie. Like, the music isn't as whimsical. A lot of the characters act very stone-faced here and there, save for the jerkasses, and even with them, it feels like they're going through the motions, especially with Shelton. Like, I'm sorry, a lot of Shelton scenes just feel like they drag on way too long without him getting comeuppance, while he gets to lord his power over them the whole time. And, like, man, it would suck if Andy really is blamed for his death because the guy had it coming. And then, I guess there's the noble sacrifice of Whitehurst, who, I guess, had an arc of needing to be brave?
I'm just saying the guy had a book bag. He could have used it.
Like, I get it, it's to add in a sad self-sacrifice, but yeah, when you think about it, there were smarter ways he could have done it. And I guess, to be fair, heat of the moment, and for all he knew, he had very little time before that grenade went off. But the thing is, it's a scene we're clearly supposed to care, but I don't care that much. Because Whitehurst, even if he hadn't arced, does not feel that drawn up as a character. Even the love interest, yes, she's a tough girl. And not much else. I mean, now granted, it's not shoved in our face like certain movies would do, but, like, a lot of these characters are just there. Honestly, one of the more enjoyable characters is Tyler, and like I mentioned, he vanishes from the plot. And like Jay mentioned, while Andy does get a proper fight even chasing after the doll now, Andy feels like a subplot in what is supposed to be one of his own movies. In fact, Chucky, in some cases, feels like a subplot to the movie. Because,
Some point in it, I did refer to it as a B-plot, so yeah.
Like, you know what this movie feels like? A teenage high school drama. I mean, hey, we're at military school, so yeah, a teenage high school drama just with the killer doll shoehorned in. It's kind of like how Jaws for the Revenge felt like a soap opera with a shark thrown in there. Wait, didn't that come out around the same time now that I think about it?
You're piecing it together.
Also from Universal.
Oh, good lord. What was up with Universal? You guys were the home of some of history's most classic monsters in media. Well, granted...
Hang on, I think I need to look something up here.
Granted, we would see what would happen when they would intentionally try to make a dark universe, but I digress. This movie...
Saved by the Bell came out in 1989 and did run for a good few years, so it was kind of in the height of popularity.
Oh, maybe that's why they tried to have the military school or high school background in that regard.
There you are.
But I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm just not really digging it. And like I mentioned, a lot of the kills don't feel as creative or as over the top as they could be. Again, it feels like this movie's going for a more subdued tone, and I'm like, my dudes, you're child's play. Like, you're not Halloween. You're not even like the Freddy Krueger series at that. You're child's
Nightmare on Elm
play.
Street.
It's like, I'm sorry, you do have to take this tone with that. Now, granted, that's not to say you can't go for a shift in tone. Like, both Bride, Seed, and Curse would have shifts. Bride and Seed being more to the comedic angle, and Curse going to more serious one. And those would all end up having their fans. But this one didn't. And the reason is, it tries to talk a big game with its tone, yet it feels so shallow as a result. They try to get us to care more about the characters, but they don't commit the proper time to really draw them up. And when they do try and do that, the scenes feel ineffectual and just padded out.
A lot of it feels unearned, is what you're saying.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
To paraphrase Pedro and Didge, they didn't earn it. And again, like,
well, that's the way Deji says it. I usually say the way I usually say it is, "Oh yeah, this feels earned, doesn't it?"
you sometimes
With sarcasm. You he plays it straight. You subvert it.
Yes.
But
Fair enough.
And again, like, normally I'd be like, oh, just fine. It's a Child's Play movie. But again, there was a standard to be upheld. Yes, as much as we've talked about how the writing is not always that important in a Child's Play movie, there was still a standard of quality to uphold. And even the writing feels sloppy. Like, yeah, we maybe could argue that Chucky had this ability all along, but again, it feels rushed because the writers didn't think, oh right, first person who saw you alive, but wait, that's the CEO. And even still, that one feels like a stretch. Like, now, again, if the movie was more honest in how much of an asshole it is, like later films would be with it, I wouldn't really have gotten on that Fitz case as much. But no, this movie wants to be more serious, so, okay, I'm gonna treat you more seriously. And I will call out very thinly disguised plot holes in that regard. In fact, in regards to disappointing kills, the CEO was a guy we've actually been waiting since movie 2 to get killed. And it's a lame kill. Yeah. And, like, I guess this may or may not affect the good guys factory. Who knows? Again, never really focused on that much outside of just a framing device to bring Chucky back.
Help me out here. I actually can't remember how he got killed.
What, in this
The
movie?
CEO. The
Oh.
CEO, particularly.
Golf,
the CEO,
golf club, and then Chucky strangled him with a wire.
The strangling, that's right. It was a yo-yo. It gave us the line, but yeah, it was forgettable.
Again, he's tormenting him with all these toys, yet it's just a simple strangling in the end. And I get it, that was like his good old way of doing it, but it didn't feel like that's what they were building up to proper. And again,
Where'd the other two Chucky dolls come from?
And like with Shelton, like Tio mentioned, yes, Shelton finally gets it, but in a way that honestly, that literally could have just been anyone. It may not give you the biggest sense of satisfaction from it. Like, yeah, he's dead, but it's not like done in the over-the-top cool way that a jerk-ass usually gets from the main slasher.
Yeah.
And even
Actually, if we can talk about Shelton's death for a second.
What?
I want to go in for a quick bonus round. Part and parcel to the reason you probably don't feel satisfied with Shelton's death is because they started trying to write him turning around. For starters, he stops bullshitting with Andy and actually starts trying to take the threat seriously. Like,
especially
they
when
snapped
he
him from being an
Chucky
absolute
actually
jerk.
is alive.
Yeah, they send him from being an absolute jerk ass to hang on, this is actually kind of serious. It's starting to threaten my platoon. Maybe I should deal with this instead of abusing my power like always.
Which does send a
And
weird mixed message. Like, did you want us to care for him in the end, movie?
and that's where it goes wrong. He was supposed to be an enemy character, and they started turning him around and killed him before they finished. What did you want out of Shelton? Because you didn't get anything in the end.
I ask a similar thing as to what they wanted out of Whitehurst. Like, it seemed like he's manning up, and then he dies. Alas.
It really does fall apart in the last hour, doesn't it?
Yeah, like, and the sad thing is, it didn't even have good foundation prior. Like, and again, Child's Play movie, I get it, but we are to the point now where we do have to critique seriously the plot of a Child's Play movie. That should show the problems here. And yes, they wrote these under very strenuous circumstances. Unfortunately, the audience weren't aware of that. To paraphrase what Sakurai said in one of his YouTube videos, yes, you can have incredibly tough situations, but the consumer may not know about that, and that can't work as an excuse, sadly. Don't get me wrong, I first and foremost blame the executives for this, and I can assume that they were trying, but all the same, I can't really mourn Child's Play failure because, well, what the product is just does not entertain me as much as, again, any other Child's Play movie. And the reasons are obvious. Like, this is legit the sole case of a Child's Play movie just outright being a disappointment that never got a cult fan base. Like, even with Seed of Chucky, that got its cult fan base. In fact, the fans arguably came around on Seed of Chucky, just like they came around on other movies too. Again, except Free. And granted, maybe also the reason we're not getting throwbacks to Free is because it sounds like Don Mancini is borderline traumatized by this film, seeing as how he doesn't seem to like to bring it up, honestly.
He probably, obviously he did not enjoy the experience of making this. I mean, how would he?
Well, I get that. If the series is indeed supposed to be a celebration of the franchise as a whole, I think, it's a case where you need to take the bad and the good at the same time and trying to, get something better out of that.
Although, to give him credit...
I've mentioned that myself, too. I would like for the Silva to be back at some point.
I will say this also. Part of it may also be that, while it makes sense that certain other elements are involved in that series, it would be a case that, okay, maybe we assume Andy is keeping in touch with these guys, otherwise you need to come up with a good reason to bring them back. Though I could see Andy... Sorry, go on.
The best I can think of, too, is one moment in Curse of Chucky, movie 6, where Andy is basically summing up the story of his life, and he does bring up the military academy, which is like the one time there's a direct reference to Free, but that's about it.
Apparently in 6, there's also the... when there's a moment where he pulls a frame out behind the safe, what's framed is the military academy shirt.
Yeah, that is true. I forgot about that, actually.
Okay, so there is that,
there's the occasional one, but yeah, Don most likely... Again, like I said, I still think that Silva could have been a potential good character to bring up, especially when you consider what happened in Curse and Cult.
But yeah, look, let me just cap up my thoughts with this. Child's Play Free feels like it was just a labor, not a labor of love, and I think that's the main reason why I just don't come back to this movie out of any of these Child's Play movies. It's not terrible. Like, I'm not angry, just disappointed.
Pedro.
Yeah, this was definitely a movie that was produced over the course of 9 months. It shows. It definitely shows. Like I said, I still think the movie, if you just take it on its own merits, it's a perfectly average slasher movie. Obviously, if you compare it to Child's Play 1 and Child's Play 2, obviously it doesn't hold up. That being said, when you actually just take it for what it is, it's perfectly harmless still, in my opinion. It obviously has a lot of problems, like we've said. It's just that overall, I've seen far worse. But yeah, it doesn't change the fact that there's still quite a bit of issues, and it's by far the least memorable of the Child's Play movies. unfortunately, like everybody has said, it's all uphill from here, in my opinion. Like, hell, even back in 2004, I still had a blast with Seed just because it's hilarious.
Oh yeah, I always loved Seed, and I'm glad that people came around on Seed too.
Because Seed is just one of those movies that's just having so much fun with itself. It's kind of hard not to just join in.
Oh yeah, it's honestly a real blast.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's probably the silliest the franchise has been, but honestly, it's still fun, so I'll take it, whatever. And again, for those who wanted a more proper return to the tone of 1 and 2, we got that with Curse and onwards. So you can still look forward to a proper return to what 1 and 2 were eventually. But for now, everybody, that's basically it. There's not much more I can say that hasn't been said. And that was the original Child's Play trilogy. After this, Dawn would fucking take a rest because this was extraneous, and there wouldn't be another Chucky movie for 7 years. In fact, this was the last time that the Child's Play franchise was called Child's Play. Even though it's still technically, a lot of people still call it the Child's Play franchise, from this point on, the Child's Play moniker would be dropped in service of Chucky. The next movie being called Bride of Chucky. And that it's for a similar reason to what happened with First Blood slowly becoming Rambo. You know, people even back in the day, because I actually remember this. I remember even back in the day. When the movies were still new, people usually just referred to them as just Chucky 1, Chucky 2, and Chucky 3.
I mentioned last year, in my country, the original trilogy is called The Killer Doll instead.
Oh, that's
very bland, yes.
That's a very generic name.
You know, the funny thing about this movie, I can't really be mad at it when when Child's Play 1 remake exists, because that's a mockery.
I mean, the Child's Play 1 remake...
that's what I'll say. I'll still take this over the remake. That's because the remake, to me, is just like, they don't even get Chucky right. And that, to me, is by far a far worse offense to me.
I'm gonna be the odd one out and say I would actually take the remake over Free, because the remake at least has the excuse that it's a different timeline, and they were going for something noticeably different, more so a critique on the upcoming upstages in technology, along with the consumerism angle, whereas Child's Play 3 did actually have the burden of trying to follow up 1 and 2, and it just didn't have the chops for that. Which I feel, honestly, is more disappointing.
Fine, I'll be the other and say that I don't want to take either of them.
That's okay.
Alright, let's wrap this up.
Well, might as well tell you, over here in Portugal, the original movie is called Chucky the Diabolical Doll.
Well, that's better, actually.
So, Tio, we finally dealt with all these killer dolls.
Then we have the same... but 2 for 2, and the same but 3 for 3. So my country has always called these movies Chucky from the beginning.
Anyway, Bride of Chucky is gonna be reserved for next year.
Yes, tune in next time, everybody, where once again me and Shiroi join forces to give you the Chucky comedy horror duology, Bride of Chucky and Seed of Chucky.
But as for this Halloween, we're not done. This is mostly halfway through. Twibs, before leaving, told me that he was so pissed off by the blandness of his movie that he wants us to skip directly from festivities and go directly to Christmas. So join us next time, where we go to the original 1974 something Black Christmas. See ya.
Ta-ta!
Bye, folks.